Good afternoon, all. I do learn from Venki. It's a very successful conference, and I'm very grateful to represent Analog Devices here today to share some thoughts from ADI point of view. One thing I've been enjoying all the conference around the world for years, and I understand your pains, going through 2 days conference, particularly after the afternoon hours. The first one stand up here is that I need to wake you up first. Okay, so what I would guarantee you is I will get you on time for your next sessions and get everything running first. First of all, it's a great honor to be here today to share with you that what ADI's perspective about IoT. And this will more focus on what we can offer by using our technologies from sensing, monitoring, control, and connect. That whole signal chains, that creating solutions so we can help our customers solve most difficult problems. And at the end of days, and what that matters to us is we make our lives better. And that is the one that we believe that IoT all about. It's not about a thing, it's about a human being that we get better at. At the same time, given this is a bit ADI perspective, therefore I'm going to give an example as well that what we've been experiencing through and the learning journey we have on the smart machine that we put into our own fabrications foundries in one of our 8-inch fab. So let me walk you through. At ADI, that what we see ourselves in IoT point of view, where that well connected to our business strategies, that from the hardware we provided, which is incented by the ability of extracting additional insights, and typically that will couple with the algorithms, which is getting more beyond data, and the platform itself, and the software as a whole. Therefore, we can leverage all those data we get and send it to the cloud for analytics. And I think that's all cloud computing is for. And this also echoed to what we see ourselves, why we have to get this deep insight from sensing, measuring, and conditioning point of view, and then finally connect to the cloud. And all those require different capability that ADI has today, which is more and more. It's just not only the geometry nodes that everybody care about, the semiconductor. It's also creating something beyond the silicon we can offer. And that's the important step that we have, providing the intelligence to enable it. So every day, our technology has been using for seeing, hearing, feeling things that couldn't be measured before in a deeper depths. And what do I mean by that is how we interpreting and processing together with connecting those data and making sure the data become a valuable insight. And I think that's the value of how IoT, the whole ecosystem, is becoming more important for our life. And we have been investing quite a lot of investments into those areas that we are aiming to develop and deliver sensors, which is a very important part of the IoT, integrated with the hardware we have and making the whole software running, that making sure the measurements that we drive and we get to our customers' hand become a valuable insight that they can put on top their knowledge, their intelligence, and making sure their value chains go up. So this is one thing we see ourselves doing every day. And equally important, how to secure that data is one individual component that we care quite a lot. And later on, I'm going to share with you what have we done. So with the focus we have on the innovation for a very complex and very demanding application in very different formats, the measurement has become very challenging. And oftentimes, it also has to be in a format that get the lowest power consumptions, because all the sensor nodes that we know in the world that require long time to run is not just running as you need it with the power, and oftentimes there's no power attached. The highest level of IoT is being realized once we can all implement as a solutions, learning from the data, and understanding the essence of what that insight tells us, and then aggregate it in a way, become analytics, more knowledge become intelligence, more intelligence become wisdom, which can drive the actions from the far end of the prognostic solutions. So what I'm going to walk you through very quickly now would be, this is the illustration of the different sensing modalities that ADI would have today, that we can help to our customer to solving the IoT challenging. And it could be light, first, sensing through the human bodies for vital signs, and use that vital signs for more aggregation as a form to prevent disease. And lights also can use for sensing as an image to detect occupancy, like this format. Therefore, the air conditioning system can flow the air to those people in that side versus in the front. And what I would going to contribute is to save the carbon footprint. And I think that's important for us to recognize that as well. So with the connected world that we are all in, as you can see here, it is all different form. And I'm not going to walk you through what that is. I would assume many of you know that. And I'm trying to give one or two areas that we know better, which we also focus, that can provide insights and also provide solution to our customers and whole ecosystems. If you look at from avionic point of view to the traffic management and the industrial and on the asset management point of view, there are a lot of things. It's all about tracking down data from the objects point of view, which is create tremendous opportunity for our whole ecosystem for the value that over 200 billions in that industrial sensing point of view, that the whole ecosystem have much better positioned to provide it. And even on the avionic point of view, as many of us, we all taking flights. I don't know where many of you recognize. Many airline companies nowadays, they do leasing. And why they do leasing? Because they take a very different approach from why to manage a fleet of airplane toward to manage the thrust of engines per payload, per carrier. And that's the change that avionic industry they've gone through. And that's the important thing, that we shouldn't limit ourselves by what we know already and what that will continue to go. So at ADI, these are the markets that we decide to get our focus in. As many of you know, the success of a business or company have to get some focus. You just cannot address everything. And we decided to choose these 4 areas to focus in the market, which is the factories. And most of ADI's business came from industrial customers. At the same time, the city we are living in with urbanizations, we are facing more and more problems of traffics, water treatments, food deliveries, and health as well. And that's the area we see the smart city together with agriculture is important for us. As I mentioned earlier, at the end of the day, what IoT tries to solve is making our life better. It's not making the object better. That's the means rather than end games. Therefore, how to improve the quality of life important thing for us is our health. Healthcare is one thing that we see there are a lot of opportunity we can address. At the same time, it's all come back to human being ourselves. Smart consumer, we know a lot of things happening these days because of the fast productions required. Oftentimes, food get contaminated, gets destroyed through the transportation, through long hours, through the way how they storage. Therefore, providing the solutions to end consumer like ourselves, knowing what we have, eating in. As a Chinese proverb say, the disease comes from what we have from our mouth. Therefore, how to get our consumers knowing what do we have is an important step to move forward. And all these are enabled by our technology over there. So with many of you here are experts in the analytic journey. I'm trying to use this illustration about how everybody in this room, we can all together working on moving the value chain more up to provide level intelligence, which at the end of the day, what I want to do is provide actions to the problems that we want to solve. As we all know in the recent memories, there are large cyber attacks through the agents in the sensor node, which was webcams. And webcam, as I priorly indicated, the webcam is a sensors devices that take an image through light. While if that one is not secure, that become vulnerable, being attacked, which that was happening just in the recent months. And we realized that is one of the biggest problems, that from as a device supplier point of view, if we are not able to get this into our systems, that we are not providing solutions to secure the internet we are all living in. Therefore, we believe the answer to that is to put that security into the root, which is device itself. This results in we spending an investment to acquire a company recently called Ciprix, which is based in States, that enable ADI. We have that security mechanics to get things done better than our competitions. Now I'm going to change gear to share with you what ADI as a company that we went through our journey using ourselves as we had factories of 8-inch that running, which require every day a good maintenance so that we can produce a valuable output. And before I go into there, allow me to get a brief overview about ADI. ADI is about 3.4 billion company in revenue at our 2015 fiscal year. And we've been in the industry for more than 50 years. This is something that we experience ourselves, that how we can use what we have, our own devices that we produce, that put into the problem in our manufacturing plants, that they are mission critical or continue cranking devices which is very precise in the step they are going through fabrication process. And then we can hand that to our customers, not only in time, also in a good quality manner that we can reassure. So let me go to share with you what we know. As all we are in who had experience running factories, the factories is all about the uptime and downtimes, and all about the maintenance and the replacement of machines. So if the replacement machine can be replaced by the earlier indication of the failure, you don't have to wait until the downtime of the machines, which can save dramatic amount of times and the energy as well, because once machine been weared out, there are many indications that current will run higher, noise will run higher, heat will generate more. Therefore, you require more to get it done. And that is only tip of the iceberg about all the factory automation process that everybody is working on every day. Therefore, I'm going to share with you that experience to let you know how we did it and what is the interest that we had achieved. On the right-hand side, you can see this is the snapshot that we have at one of our 8-inch fabs running in Ireland. And that has been well run as manufacturing factories that ADI is proud of delivering world-class qualities that is at very quality manner in terms of very low single-digit ppm. And that's why we can do that. It's come from a lot of hard work from the men and women who work in that factories. So our mission has been, how can we know better and earlier, provided care before maintenance methodologies that through a lot of sensings, modality of different form about what can cause some of the problem of the machines. So that is the center of focus. And what we would like to do is we can reduce scraps, because once it's been not working well, then the wafer we produce will become a scrap. Scrap become an environmental hazard for impact. At the same time, we will put more money into replacing the machines, which become another waste. And that is the whole notion that why it's important for us to learn from this journey. And equally important for us is what then we can learn. We can all talk to our customers, sharing our experience, not just as a component supplier. We are selling a bag of parts that talking to customer about this is converters, this is amplifier, and this is another sensors. This enables us to share with customer about what are the insight and what are the intelligence and how we're going to secure that and what form and how we learn the intellectuals through that and become wisdoms that we can send it to our customer as well. As every single manufacturing operations is all starting from motors. Motor is source of actions point and connecting through gearbox, shaft, into pumps, into fans, or even into linkage to create motions. But every motions, once it starts running, it will all wear out. In times, it requires maintenance. And oftentimes, I think we all probably have that memory that you read your operator's manuals and knowing when to operate. Take, for example, we had cars. So how you maintain your car? You probably look at how many mileage you run and how many hours. But that's only the first level indications, because they're running on fixed timing, but rather than cares about the equipment you have. Therefore, this example is showing where are those areas we can tap sensors and measuring in the physical modalities, which can be a current, can be a voltage, or can be a vibrations. And through the signal processing and analytics, over time, we were able to get those insights about what is happening in these machines. Those what we have been learned. And as more and more we going through this, we learned as well through working with others that they have better knowledge, that this 47% of the failure are coming from the electric signals or electrical signal chains as a whole. The other half portion coming majority from the mechanical wearings that is happened as a lifetimes. Therefore, knowing what modality problem we try to solve, is enlisted here of 5 different kinds that could enable us as a suppliers, supplying chipset, but also enable us become customers for ourselves, knowing what problem we try to solve, and providing that intelligence to our customers who run a similar modality of operation through motors. So that's what we've been known. And even there are different modalities as well through hotspot detections. As we know, once motors start to wear out, efficiency getting lower, hotspot present. And then you can use temperature sensors to sense where the hotspot, or even in the PCB, that you can know where the most possible failure can come. Therefore, you can tackle it before you get down. One other can go through acoustic wave, where they are representing into electric signatures that you can identify it and get it in a way before everything's collapsed. So that's what we learned, and that's what we see as important lessons we got through. So in summary, is what we try to learn through this journey and what we got is oftentimes when this type of factory operation, what they run, we all go through different type of sensings for different level of understandings. It could be a very immediate level by knowing you just need a diagnostic. You don't need a prognostic. Or going through different level of preventions that you require higher performance of data, that you can use that high volume of data running through clouds, providing you patterns you can recognize in a way that you can fix how the solution can be done. And that's an illustration that we see it here. And the modality of how we solve problem can be different, while that you can categorize in different way. Then you had a better opportunity to position yourself. What problem you try to solve, there you can ask yourself what level of performance on each individual sensing devices you require. So when we go all through this, I think what important thing for us to conclude is IoT doesn't exist only today. It exists in many years before, but it's in a different form. It's more in the past 10 or 2 decades in the form of local network area, because there's no cloud at that time, there's no internet at that time, but factory is still running as operations. And how they do it in a different form, and more localized, which require quite a lot of computation power at the cloud or computing's point of view, or the servers in the local network. The more and more we see how the world in IoT evolve, coming from getting things more intelligence on the sensor nodes, which at the end of the day, sensing less data back to the cloud. Because this world has very crowded already. Every day there are a lot of people are tweeting. You don't need additional data just to clock the cloud. And these are the mission critical subjects. Therefore, sending more data into the cloud doesn't help us solve the problem, but rather than sending more useful intelligence that can provide analytics to those things, we can solve mission critical problem to improve our lives. So that's what I would like to share with you all today. And as I keep the promise, I'm running ahead of time, that I can allow a few minutes for Q&A if you have. Thank you very much for your attention. No problem.
Thanks for a wonderful presentation.
Thank you.
So, would you want to take one question? Just
Sure.
one? Yeah.
Yes.
Does anybody have a question? We'll take one. But, just a second, but. Anybody this side?
Hello. Sir, predominant opinion is most of the sensors are analog, right? I mean, they remain analog and whatever be, word is analog, therefore sensors are analog. Is there a trend or any research happening to convert the basic sensing itself to convert into a digital sensing so that you don't need the analog conversion for the rest of the processing? I mean, if it is too complex, we can discuss offline.
Okay, can we take that offline? You want to take it offline?
I can address that.
Yeah, thanks.
Just to make sure I understand the questions. Sir, do your questions meant to say most of the sensors today are on the cloud? Was that the first statement? Oh, analog, I'm sorry. Okay, yeah. I think the simple answer for that is we are all human beings. So we and what we live around all generate analog signals. And therefore, all sensors, the first interface is all analog. Then that convergence becomes digitizations. That part, it's more and more, as the last page I mentioned about, it's moving more toward the sensor age, which get to have security around, making sure that device cannot be tampered. And therefore, the analytics sending back can be reduced in the tons of data that providing more in-time and real-time actions. That is important for us. Did I answer your question, sir? No problem.
Thanks, Howard. Thanks for the excellent presentation and just a little bit of token of appreciation.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.